Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 277 based on novel. So let's start. Hey. Xiao Yan and the Master of Soul Eater kept wandering around in the Void Thunder Pond. After a while, they found Du Chifei's figure in a narrow space thunder pond. This is a rather dark void. In the void, Duo Chifei's delicate body slowly stands in the air, her beautiful eyes tightly closed. At this time, Duo Chifei was constantly lingering with grey thunderbolts. Obviously, these grey thunderbolts emerged from the thunder pool. Now they are absorbed by Duo Chifei, and a trace of tyrannical aura is constantly permeating. At the same time, the token of reincarnation between Duo Chifei's eyebrows also showed a strange wave, as if something attracted him in this thunder pool, but that kind of wave was obviously not something that could be emitted by ordinary things. Seeing this, Xiao Yan frowned, always feeling that this so-called big opportunity might have something to do with Duo Chifei. Master, what should I do now? Xiao Yan endured the heat in his heart and asked slightly. Now, don't be in a hurry. It's better to wait for Du Chifei to wake up first, otherwise the strong awakens her cultivation state, which may cause some other effects on the token of reincarnation. The Lord of Soul Eater said after weighing it. After all, the token of reincarnation in Duo Chifei's body is no trivial matter. So naturally, they won't do strange things for their own selfishness. The power of thunder is so strong, I don't know if it can help me break through. Xiao Yan nodded slightly when he heard the words, and then turned his eyes towards the thunder pool. Xiao Yan's heart trembled. Take advantage of these hours, you should also absorb the power of thunder. After all, there are reincarnators, and many of the power of thunder in this thunder pool will continue to gather here. Whether you can break through is up to you. The Soul Eater said with a smile. With his strength, he naturally noticed that Duo Chifei had absorbed the power of thunder and was saturated with the power of thunder, and the grey thunder surrounding her would not be absorbed if it was not absorbed. I am afraid it is wasted. After a long time, Xiao Yan also turned around and murmured, with a smile in his voice. Although this grey thunder power did not know how it was generated, its power was stronger than Xiao Yan's fighting immortal tribulation, or even it is the medicinal pill robbery that is stronger and more powerful. Since that's the case, let's start practicing. It won't take long for Du Chifei to wake up. The next moment, the Lord of Soul Eater said. Xiao Yan nodded, then his toes lightly dipped in the void, and immediately swept towards Du Chifei. The power of Sheng Yang also emerged from the body in an instant, completely wrapping the body. Wang buzzing. Originally, under the saturation of Duan Chifei's absorption of grey thunder, a strong thunder force continued to linger outside her delicate body, but when Xiao Yan approached, those thunder seemed to be surprised, shot out like a silver snake, and attacked Xiao Yang's body like lightning. Dragon God's first change. Xiao Yan didn't dare to be sloppy. After all, this level of thunder is no joke. The first transformation of the Dragon God made Xiao Yang's body full of a faint golden luster, but after the display, no matter how tyrannical the power of thunder was, it did not affect Xiao Yan. However, although these grey thunderbolts were tyrannical, when they came into contact with Xiao Yang's body, they were blocked by Xiao Yang's body's tyranny and holy flames. Only a dull sound was heard, and they instantly disappeared, leaving only a faint trace of it. Power poured into Xiao Yang's body. Seemingly aware of the sound, Du Chifei's beautiful eyes couldn't help but flicker, but he didn't open it in the end, still swallowing the power of thunder. In the grey pool of thunder, the thunder of terrifying violent force kept beating, and every time it beat, it would cause waves of space ripples in the void, but the next moment, it was swallowed up by Xiao Yan. At this time, in the void thunder pond in the depths of the two, Xiao Yan was constantly absorbing the grey thunder, and his entire body was filled with grey thunder, like a grey dragon, and his body was filled with the power of unusually dazzling thunder. How tyrannical the power of thunder is. Under the protection of Xiao Yang's first transformation of the Dragon God and Sheng Yang, it was also continuously refined by Xiao Yan and turned into a trace of the purest power that poured into the body. In the grey void thunder pool, a Qianying and a man's body slowly came out. The thunder power on Qianying's body has slowly disappeared, as if it will wake up at any time. As for Xiao Yan, the violent grey thunder is crazy outside his body, roaring, one after another thunder beams that touched the thick arms of the arms, continuously diffused from the void, and then attacked Xiao Yang's body without any imposing manner, but this attack did not cause any fluctuations in Xiao Yan, as if it made the power in Xiao Yang's body continued to solidify. In the void thunder pond, I don't know why, the power of the grey thunder seems to be endless, so absorbed, a month has passed in a blink of an eye. During this month, Duan Chifei's aura has also stabilized, but his strength has soared to the perfect level of 2-star Dose Yan, which makes Xiao Yang unable to help smack his tongue secretly, but Xiao Yang also gained a lot in this month. Rich. Have you reached the limit? After a while, Xiao Yang's pupils slowly opened, seeing that the Do core in his body actually had a hint of tyrannical resistance to the grey thunder beside him. He immediately nodded helplessly. 2-star Do Immortal late stage. He stood up slightly and threw a few punches at will. A trace of grey thunder continued to flow out, making Xiao Yang's attack extremely tyrannical. Now, in the late stage of the 2-star Dose Yan, with the fighting spirit, holy flame, and even the first transformation of the dragon god and the soul fighting skills, I am afraid that if you encounter a real 3-star Dose Yan, you can still fight. Feeling the pound in the body with the power of the scorpion, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. However, Xiao Yang is still a little helpless. The improvement of his strength becomes more and more difficult the further he goes on. Only by relying on Fen Ju's mysterious characteristics and swallowing the holy flame can he exchange for the tyrannical power and find the holy flame, which is also a must for Xiao Yang. Indispensable thing. Wang buzzing. At the next moment, Duan Qifei, who was beside Xiao Yang, suddenly opened his beautiful eyes slightly. The power of the reincarnator? Seeing this, Xiao Yang couldn't help being startled and became vigilant. Little guy, and the Lord of Soul Eater, it's really been a long time. A silver bell-like laughter slowly emerged and filled the entire void. At that time, the extremely tyrannical grey thunder around him was also quiet at this time. The grapes were in front of Duo Qifei. At this time, Duo Qifei, in her beautiful eyes, a grey energy slowly emerged, and even the token of reincarnation between the eyebrows burst out with a bright light. Lei Lord. Xiao Yang opened his mouth slightly with a little fiery lips, but his heart was shocked. Come with me. Before Xiao Yang's surprised expression calmed down, Du Qifei said immediately. However, Xiao Yang was vaguely aware that Du Qifei at this time was probably not himself, but was replaced by a trace of spirituality in the token of reincarnation. Master. Xiao Yang softly agreed, and immediately asked the Soul Eater Master. After all, in the face of a powerhouse like the Thunder Master, even if it was a remnant of the soul, it would not be a waste to obliterate himself, so immediately asked. Follow. It will take you to the heart of Thunder Pond. There has never been a human being in the core area of Thunder Pond, because there is a tyrannical prohibition there. Following it, it can be blocked without restriction. The Lord of Soul Eater said. Xiao Yang nodded and immediately followed Du Qifei. The two disappeared directly into the training thunder pool and headed for the depths. Are you coming? Xiao Yang couldn't help muttering as he kept following Duo Qifei around in the void. The power of thunder around him became more and more tyrannical. Wang buzzing. The next moment, the two came directly to the grey thunder light spot in the depths of the thunder pool. Obviously, this is the core area. Crash. What a tyrannical confinement. As soon as he approached the grey light spot, a coercion from the depths of his soul suddenly filled out, making Xiao Yang feel like he was facing a great enemy. Duan Qifei's beautiful eyes flickered slightly, and then the silver thunder between his eyebrows scattered a very weak force to protect Xiao Yang. It's so strong. Feeling the appearance of this random trace of thunder force, all the coercion here disappeared instantly. Xiao Yang became more and more curious about the token of reincarnation in Duan Qifei's body. After so many years, I'm still back. In Duo Qifei's beautiful grey eyes, staring at the grey light spot in front of him, a sense of relief emerged. Let's go. With a coquettish anger, Du Qifei and Xiao Yang suddenly disappeared into the grey spot of light. This is. As soon as he entered the grey light spot, it was a void again. But the tyrannical level of this void, even if Xiao Yang tried his best now, could not break the slightest. Xiao Yang's face was full of shock, and what was reflected in front of him was a grey lake that was nearly 1,000 feet tall. The grey lake was dead silent and lifeless, but the grey color contained the power of grey thunder that made Xiao Yang's scalp tingle. This is a huge thunder pool composed of grey thunder. Stand still, wait for me to summon my remnant soul, otherwise this trace of spirituality won't last long. After a while, Duan Qifei's beautiful eyes stared into the depths of the thunder pond and muttered to herself. After Duo Qifei finished speaking, he put his hands together, and some strange and ancient handprints continued to emerge, but when these handprints appeared, the grey thunder around him was slowly facing Duan Qifei gathered in front of him. Crash. After a while, a figure composed of energy bodies was also abruptly born from the grey thunder. I saw that it was a woman, with long silver hair hanging down, close to the skirt, showing her graceful figure vividly. Even on the delicate body, a faint grey thunder continued to linger, seemingly faint, but it contains terrifying energy that is enough to destroy all things. Lei Lord, it's been a long time since I haven't seen you. The next moment, the Soul Eater in Xiao Yang's body also broke free from the shackles in an instant, and then turned into a human appearance and said to the figure in front of him, Master of Soul Eater, you didn't fall? The energy shadow just appeared, and immediately noticed the existence of the Soul Eater, but before he could speak, the Soul Eater was the first to ask. I was lucky enough to get back my life back then. The Lord of Soul Eater was also embarrassed. At the beginning, he was seriously injured and almost fell. He entered the coffin to cultivate, and was searched by Xiao Yang. With a sound, Du Chifei suddenly returned to normal. What happened? Where is this? At the next moment, Duo Chifei looked around, but said with a puzzled face, but the black and grey energy in front of her gave her an extremely dangerous aura. Duan Chifei. It's really a good name. Lord Lei heard the words, and he also turned his attention to the beautiful figure in front of him. After all, this woman is her reincarnation. Senior, you. Being stared at by Lei Master's woman like this, a tyrannical coercion descended on Duo Chifei, but the grey reincarnation token at the center of her eyebrows also exuded traces of obscure ancient lines. Sure enough. After Lei Zhu confirmed the reincarnation token, there was also a smile on his cheek. Lei Lord, as tyrannical as you, is it also fallen? Without disturbing the Thunder Lord, after the Thunder Lord checked the reincarnation token, the Soul Eater couldn't help but ask. That's right. The strength of the aliens is far beyond our imagination. In the First World War, too many powerhouses fell. A chill appeared in Lei Zhu's pretty face. Obviously, every time he thought of the aliens, he would always know an extremely cold killing intent erupted. Here is a remnant of my soul, and there is not much memory and time left. Next, let's do business. The old man of Lei Master, the Soul Eater, said slowly, because the top priority now is to stimulate the reincarnation power in Du Chifei's body. After all, Du Chifei, the reincarnation token in Fei's body, was deprived of too much time, which made the reincarnation power in her body extremely unstable. If some other measures were not taken, I am afraid that this reincarnation would end in failure. And once the reincarnator fails, not only the reincarnation of the strongest person will fall completely, but even the body of the reincarnator in this life will be vanished, so it is necessary to stimulate the power of reincarnation. Is your name Xiao Yang? The next moment, Lei Zhu turned his head and asked Xiao Yang. Junior is Xiao Yang, I don't know about senior. Xiao Yang was also at a loss, it would be better not to be involved at this time. I feel some fluctuations in the blood of the Xiao family from your body. Humph, although I know that it is unwise to involve our previous generation's grievances on the next generation, but my bills with him will be calculated in the future, Lei Zhu Jiao said, Lei-ting beside him. The power is also becoming more and more terrifying. With such a terrifying power, even if Xiao Yang goes all out, he will probably be wiped out in an instant, but through these few words, Xiao Yang vaguely feels that some of their Xiao clan members' great power. Why do you offend a strong man like Lei Zhu? Forget it, let's talk about those things when I wake up. But before that, I have a request I hope you will grant me. Lord Lei paused, then spoke. What request? Xiao Yang questioned. Protect Du Chifei until the reincarnation power in her body is completely awakened. In return, you are qualified to practice the Master's Lei Di Canon. A voice like a rainbow resounded throughout the Thunder Pond. Lei Di Canon? Xiao Yang was shocked when he heard the words. Obviously, this name has never been heard before, but it can make the Thunder Lord so serious, presumably this thing will not be a simple thing. Lei Di Canon? The Soul Eater couldn't help showing a shocking expression when he heard the words. The strength of the Thunder Lord can be said to be one of the most powerful people in the world, and each of them has some famous fighting skills or means in their hands. The greatest prestige of his Soul Eater Lord is that he carries the Soul Eater talisman, and the souls of the world are all ants. And the power of the Thunder Lord is the holy code of Thunder Emperor. The Emperor of Thunder, the Lei Emperor's canon is published, and the sky breaks the dawn. It is enough to see the tyranny of this Thunder Emperor's tome. It's really worth it. The Lord of Soul Eater couldn't help whispering, you must know that although these superpowers are strong, they are the only means in their hands. This is where they are famous. Little guy, what do you think? Lei Zhumai glanced at Soul Eater Lord, and then said to Xiao Yang. It's an honor. Xiao Yang heard the words and nodded slowly. Although he didn't know what the Thunder Emperor's tome was, the surprised look on the Lord of Soul Eater was probably the same level of power as the Soul Eater talisman, so he smiled. Teacher, Master. Duo Chifei, who had been quiet all along, muttered at this moment. There was a rare stubbornness in his voice, and even his pupils were slightly red. Feiya, what's the matter? Lei Zhu seemed to have noticed something, and immediately whispered, making him feel uneasy. Master, I don't want to be a reincarnator. Can I give this thing to Xiao Yang? After gathering up his courage, Duan Chi Feiyu touched the mysterious lines between his eyebrows and slowly opened his mouth. Although she doesn't know what this thing is, she can feel that the power contained in this thing is enough to shock the world. Although Du Chifei is Du Tianhong's only daughter, and her mother passed away early, although she is extremely favored by everyone in Thunder Valley, but even so, she just wants to be an ordinary girl. With the power of reincarnation, there are too many things on the shoulders. Feiya, this kind of thing. Lei Zhu was also dumbfounded for a while. Obviously, a strong person of her level, in the past, only others asked for her share. Today, it is reversed. The identity of the reincarnator is unique, but he wasn't surprised by Doug Chifei's words, but through these little words, he sensed that Du Chifei seemed to be afraid of something. I just want to be an ordinary girl, when I reach the right age, marry a man I like and have children, and live a normal life. The next moment, Duo Chifei opened his mouth and said, as the little princess of the sword-forging Thunder Valley, she naturally has too much intrigue and knowledge, but just after saying this, the Thunder Master immediately sensed a lie. When the two heard the words, Xiao Yang and the Master of Soul Eater were immediately speechless. After all, the identity of the reincarnator, although carrying a great deal of power, also had a lot of things to bear. This thing can't be forced. If you don't want to, then I'll remove the reincarnation pattern for you. After thinking about it, the Thunder Lord shook his head slightly. Obviously, the reincarnation must be willing to do it, otherwise it will have an unpredictable impact on the power of reincarnation. Thank you. Duo Chifei heard the words, and her beautiful eyes couldn't help but tear up. Come with me. There was a trace of unwillingness in the voice of Lei Zhu, but this kind of reincarnation was useless, so a bright grey light curtain appeared on the body, wrapping the body of the two, as if to do something. Master, this. Xiao Yang originally felt that Duan Tianhong was thinking too much, but now that he looked at it, he was really helpless. The reincarnation can certainly provide a great help for Dacian world to resist foreign evil races, but it is too heavy to sacrifice oneself, such a price, for a girl to bear. Let's go with the flow. The Soul Eater also said helplessly. Feiya, what are you afraid of? Lei Zhu turned out a light curtain to wrap the two, and suddenly there was a kindness in his beautiful eyes. Wang buzzing. Asked by Lei Zhu, a rare emotion in Duan Chifei's heart couldn't help but be touched. This power is too powerful. I'm just afraid that I can't control it well and hurt the people around me. Without Xiao Yang's existence, Duan Chifei seemed to be a different person. The corners of the eyes are sour. Because of her childhood memories, she was deeply hurt by the reincarnation token. The reincarnation token would emerge its power due to Duo Chifei's mood swings. Because of the power of the reincarnation token, she almost killed her best friend in childhood. That's why there was a scene where her mother sacrificed her life to seal it, which made her a little afraid of this power. Don't worry, after this time is stable, you will be able to cultivate and mobilize my power, and there will be no more out-of-control situation. After you truly control my power, I will also be reborn. Lei Lord smiled gently, apparently to appease Du Chifei. Can I surpass Xiao Yang? In the next moment, after a little thought, Du Chifei also asked. Yes. Lei Zhu smiled slowly. At the next moment, after Duan Chifei heard the words, she was surprisingly quiet. Obviously, she also knew that the Samsara's identity was special, so her mind was inevitably moved. You have some interest in that Xiao Yang, don't you? Looking at Du Chifei, who was still undecided, Lei Zhu said. No. Duan Chifei stammered. In the end, she didn't know what kind of emotions she had towards Xiao Yang. It wasn't quite the same as a friend, maybe she was in love, but she was afraid that one day she would not be able to control it. The power of reincarnation token. Xiao Yang is a member of the Xiao clan, the Xiao clan who made great achievements in the war between heaven and earth. And Xiao Yang is probably the last remaining member of the Xiao clan, so his future mission is also incompatible with the foreign evil clan. If you gain my power, you will naturally be able to help him in the future. You know the principle of getting the moon first. Right, said Lei Zhu. Master, thank you. Let's start. After some persuasion, Du Chifei was also relieved. Obviously all the worries in his heart were forgotten. She is the reincarnation of the Thunder Lord, who controls the power of thunder and dominates one side. After the success of the reincarnator you will have my power, and I will not assimilate you, you are still you. Lei Zhu smiled slowly. This forging Qifei has gone through countless hardships. Hard to find. Wang buzzing. A trace of dazzling grey thunder continued to fall off from Duo Chich's eyebrows, and then returned to the body of the Thunder Master. Then, traces of the ancient hidden lines slowly emerged on the Thunder Master's body, and then all of them surfaced. Above those thunders, the next moment is to return to Du Qifei. Repeatedly, within Du and Qifei, a majestic force that can be learned from the world slowly sprouts. Reincarnation. Has it begun? The Soul Eater immediately smiled when he noticed a shimmering ray of light from the airtight light curtain in front of him. Senior Lei Master is really a good trick. Xiao Yang couldn't help being surprised when he saw this. He obviously didn't know what method Lei Master used to make Du and Qifei change his mind. Since you have successfully completed the task for Lord Lei, it's time to get this great opportunity. Seeing the fluctuation of reincarnation in front of him, Soul Eater's eyes also glowed with a gleam of light as he slowly smiled. Big chance. Xiao Yang heard the words, his eyes couldn't help but light up. Obviously he had been looking forward to this thing for a long time. Wang buzzing. The next moment, the figure of the Thunder Master slowly emerged from the light curtain. You old fellow, thinking about my chance every day? My chance is to be left to my reincarnator, where it will be this kid's turn. Besides, this kid is still a member of the Xiao family. I'm very grateful that I didn't kick him out. Lei Lord's body just emerged, and he immediately scolded the Soul Eater Lord and Xiao Yang, but at this time Lei Lord, the power of the Lord is obviously wilted to the limit, and even the body has become illusory. And the most puzzling thing for Xiao Yang is, which of their Xiao clan has angered this Thunder Master? Don't do this. Duo Qifei is absorbing your power at this time, and will gradually begin to contact reincarnation, so the chance in this thunder pool can only be cheaper than my disciple. The Lord of Soul Eater smiled, obviously has seen through the mind of Lei Zhu. Is this guy your disciple? I can't see that you are being stingy. The dignified Soul Eater, actually going to his own apprentice is shabby, if this is spread. When Lei Zhu heard the words, he immediately rolled his eyes at the Soul Eater. Obviously, Xiao Yang did not feel any bite. The inheritance of the Soul Master, the so-called master-disciple relationship of the Soul Eater, is also extremely chilling. Stop talking nonsense, let's start quickly. Otherwise, don't expect my disciple to protect Du Qifei for you. The Lord of Soul Eater immediately said with a pale face when he heard the words. He had nothing to do. He was still injured, and most of the things he knew were about ghosts in the ghost world. Yes, for a human like Xiao Yang, learning it is useless. Qifei should have a lot of time to absorb reincarnation, and this chance will be cheaper for you. Come with me. But boy, you have to remember that the identity of the reincarnator will be thorn in the eyes of the evil clan, Sin, and these forces. If I wake up before I wake up, my baby lover will have any advantages or disadvantages, even if it is guarded by the supreme person of your Xiao clan, I will also hunt you down to death. Lord Lei's seemingly gentle words were filled with an extremely large killing intent, and at this time Xiao Yang was also shocked. Originally, Xiao Yang wanted to inquire about their Xiao clan, but now that the Thunder Master hated their Xiao clan, he had no choice but to keep his mouth shut. The younger generation will naturally try their best. Xiao Yang was secretly surprised when he heard this. Wang buzzing. The three figures slowly disappeared, and the next moment, they came to the center of the Grey Lake. This is the center of the Thousand-Zhong Thunder Lake. At first, everyone was in the sky. When they came here, they discovered that there was a crystal ball in the center of the Thunder Lake. The crystal ball was about the size of a palm, but it was faintly emitting a very strong breath came out. Is this a soul beast or a fighting soul? Xiao Yang looked at the strange power bound in the grey crystal ball and couldn't help but said, according to Xiao Yang's perception, it seemed that the contents inside would only be fighting. Soul or soul beast? This is Lei Yuan, it is the special energy body that absorbed the power of thunder in me. You can directly absorb it. This is also a gift to you. After absorbing it, its power is enough to take your body strength to a higher level, and it will also be of great benefit to your strength growth. Lei Zhu said slightly. Wang buzzing. Following the Thunder Lord's opening, the crystal ball shook violently, as if feeling a very uneasy emotion. Is this guy still smart? Do it yourself. At the next moment, the phantom of Lei Lord slowly returned to Du Qifei's inheritance, leaving only Xiao Yang and the Soul Eater Lord. Go ahead. The Soul Eater said. Hey. At the next moment, the crystal ball in the center of the lake exploded abruptly, and a dazzling grey light ball of thunder disappeared into Xiao Yang's sight. What a violent power! Seeing this, Xiao Yang couldn't help but feel a shock in his heart. Obviously, the power of thunder contains the power of the Thunder Lord to some extent. Produce great resistance. Grey Lei Yuan just appeared, and immediately noticed the slightest emotional fluctuations in Xiao Yang's body, and then kept squirming. The next moment, it turned into a beautiful shadow. Zana. Xiao was just about to start, but he couldn't help losing his voice when he looked at the shadow in front of him. 3,000 blue silks fell down, and the skin that could be broken by blowing bombs matched the attractive face. This figure was the Zana that he was thinking about. This guy is also a playboy, just like their ancestors of the Xiao clan. He is really annoying. Seeing Xiao Yang's sluggishness for a short time, the Thunder Lord who was in the light curtain couldn't help shaking his head and said, "Brother Xiao Yang, I waited so hard for you. Come down and accompany Zana, okay?" The energy shadow just finished condensing, and suddenly the corners of his mouth narrowed slightly, and 2 small dimples appeared, quite tempting, and even every move was extremely realistic. Crash! As soon as he finished speaking, seeing Xiao Yang's sluggish expression, Zana was filled with dazzling grey energy, and then the figure exploded and shot towards Xiao Yang instantly. "Zana, when the ghost world is over, I will go to find you." Xiao Yang slowly closed his eyes, and a dazzling holy flame emerged from his body. Holy flame! When he noticed this scene, Lei Yuan Zana exclaimed, and the next moment was completely enveloped by Xiao Yang's flame. Despicable and shameless. After the grey Lei Yuan turned into its body, he couldn't help but let out a roar at Xiao Yang. Its power is enough to make the 2-star Dozian complete powerhouse fearful, but this Xiao Yang actually used the power of Holy Flame to imprison himself. The power of Holy Flame made it feel ashamed, and it was also devoured by the and escaping. Destiny. If you want to blame, then blame you for transforming into her. Xiao Yang didn't say any more nonsense. A serious look filled his pupils, and when he lifted his palm, a dazzling holy flame burst out, directly covering it and swallowing it. No matter how tyrannical this Lei Yuan was, under Xiao Yang Shengyan's scorching, it collapsed in an instant. The dazzling power of holy flames continued to emerge, and at that time, the spiritual wisdom in the Grey Thunder Yuan was also slowly cleared from the back. After 3 hours, Lei Yuan lost his mind and turned into the purest power. "Turn it into my nourishment." Feeling the unusually bright grey energy in his hand, Xiao Yang whispered, "Wang buzzing." In the next instant, the dazzling grey energy was directly swallowed by Xiao Yang. At the same time, Xiao Yang's strength and body also underwent earth-shaking changes. Wang buzzing. The grey energy was just swallowed by Xiao Yang, and it suddenly turned into pure energy, rushing towards Xiao Yang's limbs and bones. Yang used to practice and even absorb the power of the soul to be more powerful, but Xiao Yang found that if he wanted to completely absorb this energy, he seemed to be missing something. With such a strong power of Lei Yuan, I don't know if I can break through it. Xiao Yang felt a little doubt in his heart, and then he stopped opening his mouth and closed his eyes tightly, trying to absorb this dazzling Lei Yuan. After that trace of grey Lei Yuan was swallowed by Xiao Yang, at first there was only a faint trace of power. Boom boom boom. But with the passage of time, a sudden sound of thunder continued to diffuse out of Xiao Yang's body. At the end, it actually reverberated in the entire Grey Lake, with a mighty and appalling sound. It was only now that Xiao Yang understood that refining Lei Yuan was only the first step, and only by resisting the attack of this thunder force could he completely absorb all the power of this Lei Yuan. The power of thunder, which contains the power of the Thunder Lord, is really tyrannical. Xiao Yang couldn't help but have a hint of doubt in his heart. Obviously, a powerhouse of the level of the Thunder Lord, even if it has a slight contamination with her power, is worth the same. Will skyrocket several times. It's not that easy to absorb these thunder elements. Although you have refined Lei Yuan's spiritual wisdom and devoured it, if you can't absorb these thunder powers, you will only end in failure. The Soul Lord looked at Xiao Yang like this and couldn't help but say, "Boom boom boom." Just as Xiao Yang noticed that Lei Yuan, which had already been swallowed up, made a sudden change, and suddenly in the Grey Lake, one after another huge grey thunderbolts abruptly appeared, and then suddenly tore apart. Breaking through the sky, piercing the void, attacking Xiao Yang. So strong. Xiao Yang was horrified, and at the same time there was an abnormality in it. With this terrifying power of thunder, even Xiao Yang at this time could not dodge, and could only watch it attacking him. Body. The power of holy flame. The first change of the dragon god. Xiao Yang did not dare to neglect, and called directly. A low and muffled thunder sounded continuously, and Xiao Yang's body was still unable to resist the thunder's attack, and he shot back faintly towards the rear. The power of thunder under the control of the Thunder Master is the first person in the world of thunder, so it is not so easy to devour her power. You must withstand the baptism of this thunder, otherwise everything can only end in failure. And I have to say that although the power of thunder is tyrannical, it is related to whether you will be able to cultivate the eligibility of the Thunder Emperor scripture in the future. The Holy Code of Thunder Emperor will suddenly appear in your mind after forging Chifei's complete reincarnation, and the power of thunder is the foundation of cultivation. The Lord of Soul Eater spoke slowly, obviously he couldn't help either. Xiao Yang, what? It's really not easy. Xiao Yang suddenly raised his head and looked at the grey thunder in the sky, which was getting brighter and brighter. The next power of thunder, is it still good? But if you think about it carefully, for the sake of the Lei Di cannon, you can only grit your teeth and persevere. Crash. Just as Xiao Yang was thinking, the grey thunder in the sky, 1,000-meter thunder suddenly howled down, like a ferocious thunder beast, bursting with an unrivaled vicious aura. Damn! Xiao Yang's face was ashen, and the dazzling vindictiveness and holy flames continued to emerge, but it was still useless. The power of the 1,000-foot thunder fell on his body, and when the thunder sounded, a stream of scarlet blood is also pouring out. Crash! Before Xiao Yang had time to feel it, a thunderbolt of thousands of meters suddenly came, and the next moment, Xiao Yang was scorched black by the power of so many thunders, and he was quite embarrassed. Although he was extremely embarrassed to be attacked by the power of thunder, every time Xiao Yang resisted the attack of the power of thunder, the grey thunder element in his body would also absorb 1 point. The light is also looming, and even the breath has become tyrannical. Golden light. Is this a sign of the second transformation of the dragon god? Xiao Yang felt the mutation on his body, and couldn't help but chuckle. Because the cultivation of the second transformation of the dragon god did not record what heaven and earth wonders were needed, so Xiao Yang was also extremely puzzled. Crash. At the next moment, the power of thunder continued to attack Xiao Yang, but Xiao Yang did not appear in a state of embarrassment, but on his body, golden rays of light continued to emerge. Even above the golden rays of light, vaguely contains a rebellious dragon roar. The seemingly tyrannical power of thunder was actually instantly repulsed by the faint golden dragon roar on Xiao Yang's body. It seemed that there was still some gap between the strength of the Thunder Lord and that of the Golden Dragon King. This is the breath of the dragon race. How is that possible? Exclaimed by Lei Zhu, who was constantly trying to stabilize the reincarnation fluctuations in Du Chifei's body. The second transformation of the dragon god. Long way. The next moment, the golden light on Xiao Yang's body suddenly filled with the sound of a dragon roar resounding throughout the lake. What a tasteless second change. Xiao Yang was stunned at first, then looked helpless. The second change of feelings for the dragon god was too tasteless. The first transformation of the dragon god gave Xiao Yang extremely tyrannical physical strength. Under the tempering of the first transformation of the dragon god, Xiao Yang's physical strength was more tyrannical than that of the powerhouses of the same level. Even after the first transformation, it can greatly increase Xiao Yang's physical strength. But the second change of the dragon god was a power called Longwei. After performing the second transformation of the dragon god, it can give Xiao Yang an aura that does not belong to the supreme power of the dragon family like the Golden Dragon King. This aura is a deadly threat to all beasts with the blood of the dragon family. www.mtlnovel.com. But for the current Xiao Yang, it is too tasteless. Never mind. Since the second transformation of the dragon god has broken through, the third transformation will not be difficult in the future. Although he was extremely dissatisfied with the second transformation, Xiao Yang nodded secretly. Wait. This is... At the next moment, Xiao Yang was just about to withdraw his energy, but unexpectedly, the dazzling Lei Yuan was directly strung into his body, and all the remaining power, in a kind of terrible speed, frantically irrigating the fire attribute bucket core. And being irrigated like this, the grudge in Xiao Yang's body suddenly soared. 2-star fighting immortals is complete. About an hour later, Xiao Yang's mouth also smiled strangely, and a powerful force from the origin slowly filled his entire body. Until now, Xiao Yang's absorption of Lei Yuan has also ended completely by completing the second transformation of the dragon god and raising his strength to the perfect strength of a 2-star fighting immortal. This video will end here.